So if you look at the focus of identity and access management solution is to enable right people and right devices to have access to the right data for right amount of time.
Welcome to UpTech Report. This is our applied tech series. UpTech Report is sponsored by Terraleap. Learn how to leverage the power of video at terraleap.io. Today, I'm excited to be joined by my guest, Arun Singh, who's based in Plano, Texas. He's the CEO of Ilantus. Welcome, Arun. Good to have you on.
Hi, Alex. Thanks for having me today on the call.
Absolutely. Now, your product, it's an identity access management solution. So for those out there, if you're a chief information security officer, a CISO, or VP of application management, this might be a platform you want to check out. Now, on your site, Arun, you actually state very simply here, compact identity, and talk about in today's world of technology and trying to manage your identity online, your employees and a business overall. Help me understand, what was the problem that Ilantus set out to solve, and how has that changed in your involvement in the cybersecurity space? How has that changed over time and where we're headed?
Yeah, so that's a very good starting question, Alex. So let me answer it in two parts. First, that what all these IAM products are trying to solve, and then what especially we are focused on. So if you look at the focus of identity and access management solution is to enable right people and right devices to have access to the right data for right amount of time. And to solve this problem, people have initially started with simple solutions, where each device can be managed separately. And then in the past 20 years, if you look at the entire identity and access management space evolved into multiple different technologies. There are currently about 100 plus different technology elements, which exist, in this space. And broadly, you can put these technologies into three specialized camps. Like one set of technologies which focus on just helping to control the access, which we call access management solutions. The second set of technologies which are for identity governance and administration kind of activities. And the third set of technologies, which are more focused on controlling the access of privileged users like system administrators and people who have got higher privileges to control that. And now Ilantus actually looked at this problem in detail and noticed that to solve this simple problem of providing right access to right people for right amount of time, any organization need to invest into multiple different tools. On an average, they need to buy 5 to 7 different technologies and then spend time to integrate them together to solve this particular problem. So we came out with the very unique idea of compact identity, where we can compact all different elements of IAM into a single platform and solve this problem in a very unique manner.
For the sweet spot for you guys, what size of organization and scope where making it compact becomes very helpful? Because obviously, if you're a small business, someone small, you're going to go out and use, I don't know, LastPass or something to manage a couple of your passwords here and there. But to what size of an organization where you have X amount of employees or X number of devices, does it make sense to then compact all the different utilizations of identity?
Right. So Alex, if you look at that, identity and access management is such a fundamental requirement. Like, the moment you need to access any of these IT system, you need to have user ID and the password. Everyone is familiar with that. And what is happening is that large enterprises, they have already invested in multiple technologies, and going to them saying that, hey, you throw this technology and because we have some better product is not possible. Now, that actually created a space for us that if you look at across the board, so the mid-market is the one, which is kind of fastest growing because they had been lagging behind in choosing the technology. And they are the one who don't want to now buy multiple different tools and spend energy to integrate them together. So they became our obvious choice to, approach to the mid-market. There we can say that, look, you don't have to buy many tools, and this compact identity platform, which can help you converge all the IAM requirement into a single tool, and there it fits very well. So to answer your question, our focus market segment is mid-market, where we are driving it more strongly.
Now, making any shift as a leader and with technology, I'm trying to imagine the hurdles that is in someone's mind here. Like, wow, okay, bringing in more applications, more technology versus using what I already have. What, why would they decide to choose something like you guys have versus just staying with what they already have?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. So what happens that this entire space is evolving, and many of these old technologies, they pose multiple different kind of challenges. I'll tell you that the COVID-19 and the recent crisis had also forced people to move to the cloud environment, and many of these old technologies, they are enabled to like they can't move seamlessly onto the cloud, and organization taking the cloud first strategy, they are finding you're totally handicapped that with their core security solution cannot be enabled on the cloud. So that is one driver. Sometimes what is happening that the threat landscape itself is expanding so much. I'm pretty sure you might have heard this recent news in Florida that somebody tried poisoning the water, okay, by hacking the water management system and increasing the fluoride. So that's another area, okay, which is falling under this operational technologies, and these operational technology is opening up new challenges. Okay, so to be able to cover your logical security as well as IoT devices, or expanding it to cover the OT environment, that is also some of the key driver for people to look at the new solutions which can seamlessly cover your on-premise, cloud, IoT, and OT, all of that together. So those are the driver which we see.
What do you see as the biggest challenge that a CISO, someone who has to manage all of this, moving forward in 2021 and beyond? What's the biggest challenge you see that they're going to face and need to address?
The biggest challenge is to get the right visibility. So what happens, you imagine that, okay, there are hundreds and thousands of people who are there in the organization, okay, and if you look at mid-size organizations, so 10,000 to 30,000, on an average, that's the range, okay, where employees are there. Now who is doing what? Whether person has got access to the like the person who is accessing the confidential information, is it is he really authorized or not? That's a in big mess. And organizations, they struggle to get the visibility. First of all, you need to know that who is accessing my information, whether they are authorized people or not authorized. And that is one area, okay, where IAM solution, the automated identity and access management, helps in terms of not just uniquely identifying each and every person, authenticating them that they are the right people, and then beyond that, okay, doing the certification of their access rights, that periodically using this tool you can certify that, okay, yes, this month I've certified all right people have got access to my application, and next month again. That is just not possible without having this kind of solution.
Being able to scale and have that visibility, there's no way you're going to manually be able to run that or create your own solution. You need
Exactly.
something that exists. For this new world where people are going to be working from home more and more, and people are going to have their own devices going different places. How do you see the shift or any changes coming up in management of security when it comes to work from home environments?
Yes, so that's a very pertinent question. And the work from home had certainly expanded the threat landscape. And earlier, people used to come inside the organization. It was easier to control them. But now people are bringing their own devices. People are logging in from their mobile phone, their personal devices, and trying to do the office work. So the challenge is compounded by this recent, work from home culture. And my feeling is it's not going to go away soon. Okay, it is going to continue for some more time. And in these scenarios, the fundamental requirement of security is to ensure that right people are accessing the enterprise high value assets. And that is where the role of identity and access management is changing. And people are saying that this is a new kind of saying in the market, that identity is the new firewall. So in place
Break
of
that down for me. What do you mean by that?
So it's like earlier they used to have a firewall device to be able to, everybody needs to go through that to be able to control, all the access. But now people are accessing the data over the cloud, multiple different type of cloud. They are having VPN connection and all that. And these VPNs have got inherent weaknesses. So what is becoming the fundamental requirement is the identity and, controlling the user activities or user behavior is of paramount importance to be able to provide the right level of security.
How much of this management and tracking of individuals who are accessing from different places can this be automated, and should it be automated versus having a dashboard and a team of professionals that has the visibility, can see it themselves, or is service provided by you guys, versus just it totally automated and it tracks by itself? Where's the balance?
So organizations, they are going for total automation because it is a fundamental requirement. So if you look at that, how the entire cycle works, so this identity life cycle starts at the time when the person or the new employee is joining the organization. And at the time of joining itself, okay, from HRMS system, that directly triggers that what are the birthright entitlement can be provided to the person. So birthright is basically based on the role. If you're joining as a analyst, you are joining as a shop floor manager, so these are the systems which are your birthright access which is provided. And then as you grow in the organization, you move from one department to another, okay, then your access privileges need to be fine-tuned, your entitlement need to be adjusted. And then when you leave the organization, that is the most important time, then you need to be immediately deprovisioned from all those systems, because even after leaving, if you are having access, that's a big security threat.
Yeah.
So the joiner, mover, leaver, okay, all the processes need to get automated, okay, through these solutions. Now, the biggest challenge, Alex, I'll tell you that organizations they are facing is not setting up this IAM solution, but onboarding all their applications onto this IAM platform. And you will find that even though the base solution is easy to install, configure, but the biggest challenge is that organizations having thousands of applications, how to integrate those applications onto this IAM platform.
I want to know. Tell me. How do you do it?
So typically organizations, they actually take 80-20 rule, like 20% of the applications which are mission critical, which are regulated, which host sensitive data, they prioritize those applications to be first getting onboarded. And then remaining one, based on the business need, they try to onboard, because it's a cost and money involved into that. So that's where the risk management element comes in, that how many applications are really critical, they need to be immediately integrated. And for remaining, you can take a little differentiated approach to be able to manage that. Most of the time, yeah.
I was curious, like, so basically, okay, what are our top, if we're having hundreds of different applications that all need to have access management across for our employees, let's look at the top 20% of the mission critical, focus our energies there, and then the others you just don't worry about?
No, so the others, you actually still deal with the manual processes. Like many time what happens that, you have a small team of, operational team. They can actually enable the access into those applications because they don't have, core sensitive data, or they are involved facing applications.
Give me an example of like one that is generally like a mission critical, and then if you can from even one of your clients, but like a mission critical one and then one that isn't typically.
Yeah, so mission critical one will be where you are hosting your, financial data. Okay, where for example, if you are in the retail industry, so all the credit card information which are, stored into different systems, they all qualify for this. The top end applications, okay, which require to be integrated. Many organizations, they also go by the regulatory compliance, what they need to meet. For example, Sarbanes-Oxley is one of the famous regulation, and the SOX compliance drives that, okay, out of say 100 applications, they have 60 of them falling under SOX compliance. So organizations, they first take all those applications, they want to integrate it first. And reaching out to the 100% applications, everything is onboarded. I don't think that any organization had been able to achieve that. Most of the time they go till 80-90%, and that's a good enough benchmark for them to be able to generate the value.
80 or 90% that are managed, that's good enough when it comes to managing passwords. Do you think we'll ever get to a world where in an organization, 100% of all applications and passwords are all safely managed. Will that happen?
Yes. So what happens? The problem is broken down into, you have to dissect it based on the risk management. So what happens? The access is 100% controlled. IGA, which is provisioning, deprovisioning. Okay, that is where you have some of the elements which are still manual, and part of that is semi-automated technique. That is how it happens. But access management is one area where, or the privileged access management, I'll say both of them. Okay, organizations, they strive for 100% compliance, because that's so crucial for organizations to protect their critical data.
When someone's wanting to start using an IAM solution and they have all their applications, what is that process like? It sounds like a bear, a beast, to manage or even think about getting it all that switched over to using it?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. So what happens that whenever we start any engagement, the first step is to be able to see that whether each and every user is uniquely identifiable or not. Many times people say user ID, the employee ID is, becomes the unique differentiator. Many organizations, they started with, social security number as a unique differentiator, but then social security number is, again, it's a, sensitive data, it requires protection. So the step one is that how you are uniquely identifying each user. And then, what are the processes, whether those processes are optimized or not optimized. So you imagine in this way that if there are 1,000 application, each application has got its own way of provisioning, deprovisioning, and approval workflow. Okay, then it will create so many different variation. Is it really required? So bringing them into an optimized process such that the joiner, lever, mover, all of that is coming into the standard process framework. Okay, that is the second step. The third step, okay, where we require to also identify the roles. The role engineering is a big area, that what are the roles which are associated with these people, and doing an analysis and exercise to be able to identify that what are the right number of roles which are needed for the organization. All of that form part of the initial strategy part, and once that strategy is ready, then after you can deploy the full blown IAM solution, and that can actually help automate the full process.
Gotcha. Looking forward into this year and beyond, is any upcoming features that you're really excited about, or anything that you can share on the roadmap?
So I tell you that one of the feature which everybody love to hear about is zero factor authentication. Okay, so you have heard about this login ID password. Okay, and which is two-factor. Then you go for multi-factor authentication, where you have the token to authenticate. Now people are talking about passwordless authentication.
Yeah.
Because, okay, remembering those password, okay, is such a nightmare. Each and every person actually deals with that, okay, hey, I have so many passwords to remember. Is there a way I can get rid of these passwords? So there are a lot of advancement which is happening into the market, and the solution which are coming up, and what we are also we have also released is based on a blockchain based identity. So what it does, that way it uses the government issued credentials or your personal data in a manner which is totally decentralized, and using this blockchain technology, okay, we actually authenticate each person, and do the identity proofing, that way the person who he is claiming to be, how we can verify that. And what happens that when you have to log into any of these system, you just scan a barcode, or kind of the Q code, and then after, okay, you just do your face authentication, like look at your phone. So your phone becomes
your phone then becomes the device that allows to unlock everything else.
So the phone becomes a user ID, and your biometric becomes the password. So if you have to log in anywhere, just scan the code, okay, on the phone, and look at that, blink your eye. It will also ensure you are alive, you are not dead, okay? And then after, it will let you get in. So it is solving multiple problems together, that in place of remembering the password and all that, just like what people are now getting used to, iPhone and many of these mobile phone doing this live authentication. It's the same way, okay, any website you need to log in, just scan the code, look at your phone, and you are in. How about
Wow. So
that?
now is this a separate app then effectively that they would download and have on their phone, or is it a web page, or how does that work?
So that is a technology, the passwordless authentication, which is getting rolled out. It is very hot in demand, and many organizations, they are talking about rolling it out. So there is definitely some engineering effort required to be able to implement this technology. But once it is implemented, it takes away the problem of user ID password, okay, which people need to remember. The passwords are stolen, and already it is proven weak system, 20-year-old system, okay, which no one want to use it, but still we are forced to use. So I think this is something which you should definitely watch out, that more and more organizations, they are going to move towards a zero-factor authentication
So
or passwordless authentication.
so finally, the applications, the software that we work with can recognize us as humans, like other
Yep,
humans do, and say, "Oh, I know you. You look like so and so, and I can see that that's true." And then they
that's
let you in.
exactly the direction where it is going. And there is another dimension also, Alex. I'll tell you that one of the biggest problem of current access management solution is that they authenticate you only once. Like when you are entering inside the system, they authenticate and then they trust on you that now you are inside, okay, you will do everything right. So the industry is moving from one time authentication to continuous authentication. And there's a term which is becoming very popular in the industry called the zero trust model or zero trust framework. So they say that, okay, we trust you when you came in, but again after a while I need to again reestablish the trust, which means continuously authenticating the person, okay, such that, okay, after getting inside, okay, somebody is watching the users and their behavior, that they are indulging into the right behavior and not stealing the data, not stealing the information out of the organization. So that's another advanced area, okay, where organizations are moving towards.
I imagine as we become even more reliant and are more online, especially working remotely from home, the opportunity for issues when it comes to security. I don't know if there's another word for issues that I'm sure you can speak to over your 20 years of experience in cybersecurity. Oh, over 20 years, I think. Um, if you had to, just as for fun here, anything you can share of probably the biggest cybersecurity issue or more interesting one that you have faced and saw in the past that you can share, just for fun. I'm curious.
So cybersecurity issue, one I remember, like, okay, which was really very interesting, that we were working for a retail organization, and the FBI knocked at the door and said that, okay, do you know that, okay, some of your servers are already compromised. Okay, so it was kind of, they
Just
actually,
knock on the door and they're like, "Hey, by the way, your servers are compromised." And you're like,
yeah,
"What?"
and people are trying to sell the data of your organization, okay, on the dark web, okay, in the underground. So that was kind of, one of the very interesting moments, that, okay, we were kind of really surprised that, okay, all these servers are well protected, okay, they are, the access and the identities are properly guarded and all. That's what happened. And after the, quite a good amount of effort, we discovered, remember that 80-20 rule, which I said, the organization had taken only the, the sensitive servers into the account, and there were some servers lying there in the organization. They were, supposed to be not having any of this information, and people forgot to delete the information from that, and hackers got into it. So it was such a, kind of interesting moment, that, okay, even though your policy, everything is right, but, one mistake, okay, is actually, kind of exposing the entire organization again. And if you look back, Alex, the biggest fear as a cybersecurity professional, what people have is, what we need to be really careful about is the human stupidity. Okay, there is no solution
People
to
can be
that.
stupid.
Yeah, and people are going to make those kind of mistakes, and there will be some stupid mistake, and all your technology wise you are good, process wise you are good, but one silly mistake and you are again compromised. So that's the biggest fear.
What can a cybersecurity professional do to protect an organization against human stupidity?
So there are some new solutions coming up in the market, like people actually do this, simulate those phishing attacks. Okay, so they kind of train the people, and like in instead of the hackers or adversary trying to hack you, they try to simulate the entire environment just like the hackers, and filter out that, okay, out of all the employees, okay, who are the one, okay, who are not paying attention, and they are tempted to click, okay, onto the link. So
Like
those
white hat hacking your own people to see, okay, which person is most vulnerable to just these human tendencies of being a security risk.
exactly, like some people, they are by nature, okay, they are so curious, they want to click on every link, okay, they don't want to think twice, okay, and just click, and then you are compromised. So these solutions and the attack simulators are now actually creating a new dimension to be able to check. And the second area is, like, sometimes it is by mistake, sometimes it is deliberate, like the internal threat what people are dealing with. So people, the disgruntled employees, okay, they also kind of tend to do those kind of stuff. So user and entity behavior analytics, okay, which is driven purely from the identity data, is another core area of with which we are actually building up the complete automated approach for that. So where the user behavior monitoring and seeing that, okay, what are the kind of the variations in the behavior which are happening, and people who are disgruntled, okay, monitoring their activities a little bit more closely. Those are the techniques which people are using.
Kind of some closing thoughts here. As a cybersecurity professional over many years, looking forward, what are you most excited about or interested or see in the future when it comes to this field, and that you could share?
Yeah, so we are most excited about a new space which is getting created called converged IAM. And this converged IAM is basically like creating the convergence of multiple different IAM solution, okay, into a single platform. And that's where we are most kind of by native design, okay, we are situated there. So if you look at some of the leading analysts like Gartner, they are predicting that in next 24 months, by year 2023, okay, about 45% or more than that IAM deployment will be asking for converged IAM solution, where all these sophisticated approaches need to be bundled together into a single platform and then offered to the client. So, we are very excited about converged IAM as a future of identity, and converged IAM because our product Compact Identity is, one of the market leader in converged IAM space. So that's something which is very exciting. We are looking forward to tap into the full potential of this space, and as the sophistication is coming into the market and how things are evolving, how we can offer best in breed world-class solution to our customers.
Arun, thank you so much for your time, and also some fun stories to be able to hear when it comes to cybersecurity. For those that would like to hear more, you can head over to Ilantus.com and be able to get a trial of their platform and their IAM solution. You can also go to UpTechReport.com, get the full interview of this and descriptions. Thanks again, Arun, for your time. It was good to have you on, man.
It was a pleasure to speak to you, and look forward to our further conversation. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, everyone, enjoy the rest of your day. Again, this is our Applied Tech series for UpTech Report, sponsored by TerraLeap. Learn how to leverage the power of video at TerraLeap.io. We'll see you all next time. Have you seen a company using AI, machine learning, or other technology to transform the way we live, work, and do business? Go to UpTechReport.com and let us know.